Disease is started by the body. How about we go further backwards? I like this. I read some stuff and I felt like it was simple, groundbreaking, and okay, I'm just gonna read it. The body must be a toxic state before it will institute a crisis. Neither bacteria nor anything else starts and sustains a crisis. Microorganisms are incapable of unified action. In fact, they cannot exist where there is no food, soil for them. The living cells are not soil for bacteria. Bacteria are helpless against living cells. Invasion by bacteria, such as we imagine in contagion, never takes place. The bacteria that proliferate in a crisis are with us all the time. We harbor uncounted billions of microorganisms in our intestinal tract, on our skin, in our mouth and nose, and other body cavities. Thus, the body is the only actor in the crisis of elimination or cleansing called disease. Bacteria and viruses cannot be blamed for disease. Blaming disease on virus or bacteria is an easy cop-out. It's not good business to tell a client that they have caused their own miseries, but the medical profession has blamed suffering and on everything but the individual's own failure in the game of living. So what part of that was really convincing? It's about how the bacteria, this is cool, I mean, I want to quote something, part of this. Neither bacteria nor anything else starts and sustains a crisis. Microorganisms are incapable of unified action. In fact, they cannot exist where there is no food, soil for them, and living cells are not soil for bacteria. Bacteria are helpless against living cells. An invasion of bacteria, such as we imagine in contagion, never takes place. The bacteria that proliferate in a crisis are with us all the time. We harbor uncounted billions of microorganisms. That's where I would stop it at, maybe. In our skin, our mouth, and this, the only... I don't know. Did someone stick around? No. Came in, they gave me a like, and they boogied. You see what happened? Freaking Aussie drama, come back. No, maybe I don't want Aussie drama to come back, actually. I could tell you that I am suffering a disease at this moment. I'm not at ease with my larynx. As you've noticed in my trying to clear my voice, I ate some cabbage for my evening meal. It was very sharp, as it had some mustard oil in it. Without doubt, typically any irritant in the throat, esophagus, or windpipe will occasion the flow of mucus which encompasses the irritant for the purpose of ejecting it from the body. In my case, now, the body has started a mucus flow to clear the passage of what was regarded as toxic or irritating substance. This is minor disease or unease, but it is disease, and the body reacted to maintain its functional integrity. Hey, what up, Talon? Tink. The body will reject anything that's irritating. For example, if dust is put into your nose, the body will secrete mucus to surround and eject the dust irritant. Or you may sneeze. In both cases, the body is acting defensively. Thus, all remedial disease is body defensive action. Bacteria do not invade organisms, for they are always within the organism. Even after we've lost our intestinal flora after fasting, bacteria are still there. Bacteria can, in many cases, do what bears and many other animals do, hibernate or become dormant. Pasteur was not the father of bacteriology as many people think. Antoine Béchamp was the father of this science. Béchamp was a scientist in the true sense of the word. He took what he called microzoma from the chalk cliffs of France. He found that upon furnishing water, warmth, and other nutrients, the microzoma proliferated. These microorganisms had been entombed for 10 million years in a state of dormancy. So bacteria have certain qualities for survival that most are not aware of. The celebrated Dr. Lewis Thomas, who heads the Sloan Kettering Cancer Institute, said, quote, "Pity not the man who has caught bacteria, pity the bacteria that was caught by man." This is to say that humans furnish a very rough environment for bacteria. The body keeps them restricted within certain bounds. The body controls bacteria at all times. The body is master of its domain. Bacteria do not control the body as medical people have led us to believe. Following are two paragraphs from the Bible of Natural Hygiene, Dr. Shelton's first major work, Human Life, Its Physiology and Philosophy and Laws. For ages, the study of disease has progressed. One by one, the various systems and system complexes that are presented by the diseased human body have been studied with painstaking care in both living and dead bodies. The study of pathology has reached a degree of perfection unknown to most of the collateral sciences that form what is called the science of medicine. Knowledge of pathology increasing by leaps and bounds after the invention of the microscope. Until today, pathology is one of the most important studies of the medical student. Physiology, anatomy, histology, and biology are all made subservient to pathology. Quote, "The study of disease has fascinated the student for ages. Health has received scant attention. Strange as it may appear, health has been considered of so little importance as to be unworthy of investigation. No school ever existed that for teaching the conditions of health. Medicine school exists to train the student in a knowledge of disease and cures. Even today, no school exists that has its purpose in the teachings of the conditions and requirements of health. The conditions of healthy life are but little understood by the various healing professions, and still less so by the general public. Health is not in the professional line of the physician." This is from 1998? No, when he published that book might have been 1930. The medical world is preoccupied with treating disease with drugs that are currently in fashion. They're seeking out of bacteria and quote-unquote viruses as culprits in disease. Reminds me of a little joke we hear back in the Second World War. It goes like this. During the Second World War, a German civilian worked in a concentration camp. One evening, he pushed a wheelbarrow to the exit gate for inspection by a guard. The wheelbarrow was loaded with rags. The guard, very conscientious about his job and the security of the camp and its assets, methodologically went through the rags but found nothing, so he waved the worker through the gate. The very next day, the worker came through with a wheelbarrow of newspapers. The guard repeated the previous careful examination. The following day came a wheelbarrow of leaves. Again, the same thorough inspection. The day following this, the worker came to the guard pushing a heavy load of dirt. The guard was not going to be fooled. He made the worker dump the dirt and spread it out, then laboriously reload it onto the wheelbarrow. The next workday came another load of newspapers. The guard was very suspicious that the worker was sneaking something out. So in addition to other procedures, he taped the handles of and other places for concealed materials that the worker might be stealing from, but nothing was found. This went on almost every workday for a year. On occasion, the guards systematically searched the wheelbarrows, but never found anything of value being removed from the camp. By and by, the war was over. A while later, the former guard met the former construction worker on the street. He went up to the worker and stopped him abruptly with this smiling demand. Hans, hey Belinda. Hans, you have to tell me something. I'm no dummy. You were stealing something from the camp. I could never find it. How did it... Now that it doesn't matter, since the war is over and the concentration camps closed, why not let me in on it? Hans replied, Why, dumbcough? You saw it with your own eyes. I was stealing wheelbarrows. Such blindness characterizes the medical profession. The purpose of disease is not so evident that the medics can't see it. They are looking for something that doesn't exist. They have no idea. The countless millions of man-hours of chasing microbes and similar demands that viruses as living entities do not exist. So they have gone into the phenomenon of disease elaborately and have chronicled over 20,000 different diseases. They name them after the area that is most affected. Sometimes they have multiple names because the number of organs or organ systems or tissues which are affected. Nobody's here. Oh, Belinda's sticking around? No way. Toxemia is the universal cause of disease. Actually, there is only one disease, no matter how it manifests itself, and the disease which we call constructive disease is occasioned by the body itself and is known as crisis of toxemia or healing. 7 stages of disease. There are 7 stages of disease. The underlying cause of disease is all stages is toxemia. Although toxemia may arise from many sources, it basically exists because of insufficient nerve energy to sufficiently eliminate exogenous poisons and body wastes. Toxemia is not broad enough a term to cover the whole poisoning process, for it means poison in the blood. Actually, toxicosis exists. Tissues, cells, and intestinal spaces are also toxic-laden. In short, the body is toxic. Diseases present many different aspects because they evolve with the progressing deterioration of the organism that suffers them. Disease has 7 distinct stages. These stages correspond to the distinct differences of each stage of evolution. The first stage is not even recognized by physicians as a disease, innervation. Life scientists call it innervation. Most people call it nervous exhaustion. Innervation is a state in which the body is either not generating sufficient nerve energy for the task the body must perform, or the tasks the body must perform may be greater than the normal nerve energy supply can cope with. In any event, the body becomes impaired, and an impaired body generates less nerve energy in the conditions of overwork and undergeneration persists. Most people know they are nervously exhausted. Innervation can be caused by depletion of nerve energy in any of hundreds of ways. Sleep regenerates nerve energy, obviously. Insufficient sleep will not supply us with our needs. It will not fully recharge our batteries. We can sleep to regenerate nerve energy for the brain and nervous system. Huh. Nerve energy is a form of electrical measurable in millivolts. Sleep laboratories have successfully substituted electricity in place of the body's own. When this is accomplished, it is called electrosleep. It takes only 2 hours out of 24 hours to fully restore energy in this manner. Demonstrating that nerve energy is electrical is easy. If you mashed your finger, a message would go immediately to the brain, and back would come a command to remove the finger from that which applied the pressure. Moreover, the brain would command the entire balance of the body to cooperate in the extraction of the finger from the offending pressure. Only electricity is capable of such speedy transmission. No chemical process or circulatory process is capable of this dispatch. It occurs only through a network of nerves with conductive abilities. The electricity is only the form of energy it can conduct. If you take a weak voltage and if you hook up to it while holding someone's hand, the other person gets a shock immediately. When you touch the live electrical source, I don't think anyone can doubt we do generate electricity, and that is the form of energy we use to conduct our physical and mental activities. Sensations are transformed into electrical stimuli and forwarded to the brain. The brain interprets these and sends out commands based upon the interpretations. Thus, if you put your fingers into a hot object, the finger is commanded in a flash to withdraw from it. The foregoing is to demonstrate that the body is primarily an organism that works on the amount of electricity it generates and which it has in its reserves. If this supply is depleted or otherwise insufficient to cope with the needs of the body, then body functions become impaired, including the process of elimination of both endogenous metabolic waste and exogenous poison introduced into the body. This impairment begets further impairment, including diminishing the body's ability to restore depleted nerve energy. The body starts going downhill. The next stage of the decline is called toxemia. When toxic substances from whatever source saturate the blood and tissues, the lymph system, and interstitial fluid, then the conditions of toxemia and toxicosis exist. As functioning organisms, we generate a tremendous amount of toxic byproducts. We generate enough carbon dioxide to kill us within a few minutes. If our lungs fail to function, carbon dioxide buildup and lack of oxygenation would overwhelm us quite quickly. We can accommodate only so much carbon dioxide, and this is but one of many waste products. There are trillions of cells in the human body. Tens of billions of these expire every day. They are replaced with new cells. The old cells are broken down by lysosomes, enzymes that reside in a little organelle within each cell. Upon cell death, these enzymes break the cell into many smaller components for elimination. These components are cell debris. Some of these components, such as iron, protein, amino acids, are recycled by the body. Some 95% of the body's iron needs and 70% of its protein needs are met by recycling. Certain other of the body's needs are met by recycling as well. This will give you some idea as to the immense province and wisdom the body is meeting its needs. Other components of the decomposed cell are the RNA and DNA. These are toxic while in the system. If they accumulate as they do in most humans in today's society, a condition of intoxication, toxemia, and toxicosis exist. These are what medical people call viruses, and they mistakenly attribute to this dead debris the powers of life and benevolence. Tissues and blood saturation with toxic materials can be caused by both internal generated waste and pollutants taken in from the outside, which the body has not been able to eject from the vital domain. Intoxication occurs when we overload the body with toxic materials from the outside, or we fail to observe our capacities, and overload, get insufficient sleep, or are subjected to great stress, or when any number of other factors deplete the body of nerve energy for prevent its sufficient regeneration. For instance, stresses, emotional shocks, or traumatic experiences can drain our bodies of nerve energy very quickly. It's just like shorting out the battery of a car. At some level of intoxication, we begin to experience the next stage of disease, which is called irritation. Irritation results from toxic materials being sensed by our nerve network. Most of us pay this stage little mind, and certainly physicians do not pay it heed. When we feel itchy, queasy, jumpy, uneasy, or when we have bothersome but not painful areas, irritation exists. Tickling of the nose is a form of irritation. Collections of mucus along the mucous membrane irritate. Although irritation is not painful, it is a gentle prod that moves us to seek comfort, to establish freedom from it. For instance, the urge to urinate or defecate is a form of irritation due to accumulation of waste greater than the body feels comfortable with. However, the urge is not painful unless it is ignored until it creates so much pressure in its area. Near painful irritation forces us to deal with the problem. When a person drinks too much alcohol, we say that he or she is intoxicated. That's a good example of exogenous intoxication. While all alcohol intake is demanding to the organism, the body can speedily eliminate a small amount before much damage has occurred. Much damage. Increase the intake and the elimination is proportionally less and the damage proportionally greater. The first drink of alcohol occasions only irritation, which we call stimulation, but any toxic material, be it salt, caffeine, or condiments, will irritate or stimulate. This is a condition wherein the body sets in force its defensive mechanisms and accelerates its internal activities. This might well be likened to an alarm aboard a ship where all hands are summoned. A frenzy of activity results in a bout of enemy forces. Unfortunately, this often makes us feel good or hyper or even euphoric. It is distressing to see a euphoric condition arise out of a stimulation that is damaging to the organism. If the causes of innervation, intoxication, irritation remain in force and the body can't cope with it, the body initiates a responsive crisis called inflammation. This is usually the stage in which physicians recognize pathology. It is the stage where sufferers are keenly aware of a problem, for it involves pain. As well, it involves bodily redirection of vital energies. The intestinal tract is closed down. Energy that would normally be available for activity there is preempted and redirected to the massive effort to cope with a severe condition of intoxication. Lest the integrity of the organism be dealt a moral blow or crippled, the body musters its all to the emergency. The inflammation the toxicants have usually been concentrated in an organ or area of massive expulsive effort. The area becomes inflamed due to the constant irritation of toxic materials. When inflammation exists, we are said to have an itis, appendicitis, tonsillitis, hepatitis, nephritis, for example. Note that the itises just cited are all due to the overburdening of 4 different organs of purification and elimination. The names of itises are generally after the organ or tissue area that is inflamed. Thus, if we have a cold, we have rhinitis. If we have inflammation of the sinus cavities, we have sinusitis. If we have inflammation of bronchial tissues, we have either bronchitis or asthma, and so it goes. We have these particular pathologies because in each case the body elected to eliminate the extraordinary toxic load through the organ affected. For instance, asthma exists because the body has selected the bronchi as an outlet for toxic materials. The condition is chronic because the toxic condition is unceasing. While the sufferer continues to intoxicate himself or herself, the body continues to eliminate the overload through the bronchi or alveolar tissue. Inflammation or fever is a body crisis response to a life-threatening situation. The body, and the body alone, creates the fever. It is an evidence for symptoms of increased and intense body activities directed at cleansing and repair. The extraordinary energies employed for a fever are at the expense of energies normally involved in digestion, work or play, thinking and seeing, etc. Fever is a healthy activity. The idea of suppressing it is equivalent to hitting or drowning a drowning man over the head so he'll cease his struggles. For instance, if rhinitis or influenza sufferers are drugged in amounts to hitting the body's healer over the head, thus the eliminative effort is suppressed and the body increases, and the toxicity increases until other organs, usually the lungs, become saturated, not only with the toxicity, but the drugs administered as well. When body vitality reasserts itself, a condition known as pneumonia is likely to result. Inflammation is the 4th stage of disease and is the body's most intense effort to cleanse and restore itself. The next stage of disease is destructive and degenerative. It will result in the causes of general body intoxication are continued. I found a typo. What the fuck? Say if. Ulceration means that a staggering amount of cells and tissue structures are being destroyed. Pathological systems are wiped out due to the body's inability to live in an unceasing toxic media. Where tissue is destroyed, there remains a void. An example is a canker sore of the mouth. Lesions or ulcers can occur in other areas of the body also. These conditions are often intensely painful, and there are exposed nerves. While the body may use an ulcer as an outlet for extraordinary toxic buildup, thereby relieving itself, it will heal the ulcer if causes are discontinued, or if the toxicity level is significantly lowered. This process of repairing the damage is like patching up pants with holes in them. This patching up is called induration. Induration is a hardening of tissues or the filling in of tissue vacancy with hard tissue. Scarring is a form of induration, but in this stage of disease, there is direction and purpose in hardening. The space is filled, the toxic material that threaten bodily integrity are encapsulated in a sac of hardened tissue. The ulcer of the body, the ulcer and the toxic materials are sealed off by the hardening of the tissue around them. This is a way of quarantining the toxic materials, often called tumor formation. It is this condition that is diagnosed as cancer 19 times out of 20, when in fact no cancer exists. Induration is the last stage during which the body exerts intelligent control. Should the pathologic practices which brought matters to this stage be continued, cells and tissues go wild. They survive as best they can on their own. Cells become parasitic, living off the nutrients they can obtain from the lymph fluid, but contributing nothing to the body economy. They have become disorganized. Their genetic encountering has been altered by the poisons. Thus, they are not capable of intelligent, normal, organized action within the context of a vital economy. When cells go wild in this manner, the condition is called cancer. I've got two people who stuck around here to listen to cancer. Belinda and Wonnerism. Why did Belinda get a 32? She didn't guess anymore? Cancer. The endpoint of the evolution of disease is cancer. It is the last stage of disease and is usually fatal, especially if the causes that brought it about are continued. Cessation of causes and indulgence in healthful activities may arrest it, but they can so revitalize the body that they may even destroy the cancer cells. It's all relative. Cancer cells live in a hostile environment, but still divide and flourish as long as nutrients are available to them. Cancer cells may be regarded as cells that have become independent or have reverted to the status of uncontrolled primitive cells, cells that live entirely on their own, as do protozoa. These stages of disease are quite distinct in their characters, yet the lines are more or less arbitrarily drawn. This often happens in attempts at categorization, where one form evolves into another. The dividing lines have no clear-cut delineation. People sometimes ask when cancer begins. Hygienists of life scientists say that it begins with the first cold or rash of childhood. The first crisis a baby endures begins the pathological chain that leads to cancer. This evolutionary chain begins because the phenomenon of life is one constant violation of the law of life from beginning to end. Viruses and bacteria, their role in disease. After reviewing the 7 stages of disease, it should be obvious that bacteria and so-called viruses do not cause diseases. Viruses do not cause disease if you call toxic waste materials of decomposed body cells viruses. Decomposed cell debris is precisely what virologists and physicians are calling viruses. They regard viruses as living entities, when in fact medics have not in all history observed any quality of life they ascribe to viruses. This is called virus. What is called virus is always dead. It's never been observed to be alive. It doesn't have the first prerequisite of life, that is, metabolic and control mechanisms. Even bacteria have that. I repeat that what is called viruses are nothing more than components of decomposed cells. Some people insist that syphilis is caused by bacteria, more specifically spirochetes, though the term spirochetes has given way to viruses called herpes these days. That's today's fashion. It was easy to demonstrate that spirochetes were never responsible in the first place. When you ask a bacteriologist which comes first, the soil or the bacteria, he will answer that the soil must exist first for a bacteria to thrive, for bacteria are presented a deadly environment by living cells, so bacteria never exist in a proliferating stage where there is no food or soil for their propagation. They multiply when there is rest, and they die off when there is famine or adverse environment. Hence, bacteria no more create their food supply than flies cause garbage. The garbage must pre-exist the flies, and the same order, the garbage or soil in which bacteria thrive in our bodies must pre-exist the presence of propagation. Their presence and propagation. In other words, they do not cause the condition, they are there because of the condition. When the body has a highly toxic condition, such as inflammation, it will absorb bacteria from the intestinal cavity and transport them to the point where deadly materials have been concentrated. The bacteria then symbiotically assist in breaking up these toxic materials for elimination. For, of course, the excreta of bacteria are toxic too. Ignorant physicians regard these bacteria not as symbiotic partners in the process of combating disease, but as the cause of the disease. Koch destroyed Pasteur's original theories by his four postulates. The first two state that if a disease is caused by a certain type of bacteria, then that form of bacteria must always be present when that disease exists. The other says that the disease must always be occasioned by the presence and introduction of the bacteria said to be responsible. Although these cardinal principles are self-evident, to many exceptions existed to disprove totally the germ theory of disease causation. Koch laid down his postulates in 1892. The medical profession never has given them credence. To this day, the profession clings to the disproven germ theory, except that germs in the form of bacteria are taking a back seat to an even more elusive entity called a virus. Wow, I like this chapter. Bacteria exists in a multitude of strains, forms, and metabolic capacities. Bacteria are versatile and in many cases change forms and lifestyles in keeping with the character of the soil available to them. Round bacteria become rod-shaped and vice versa. It used to be said that pneumococcus caused pneumonia, but it was noted that this type of bacteria was absent in nearly half the cases. Moreover, administering the bacteria to healthy organisms never occasioned pneumonia. The plain fact that bacteria in the human body are as they are everywhere else is not recognized by the medical profession. Bacteria are symbiotic partners in all creatures of nature. In order to exist in nature in the first place, humans had to establish a state of symbiosis with all natural forces. In the second place, if bacteria invaded organisms and laid them low as they're supposed to do, if the body could be laid low while in a state of health, then the impetus or momentum of the bacteria had built up would become more pronounced, overwhelming as the organism receded in disease. It would
be a one-way trip, the same as vultures picking the bones of a cadaver. If bacteria and viruses cause disease, once they had overwhelmed the body and actually debilitated it, how does the much weakened body regain ascendancy? If you were to inquire into it this deeply and pursue it to its logical conclusions, you'd find that once a body has lost the battle while in a state of health, it's going to lose the war after being disabled. I got one person left. Nobody gives a fuck about disease. Disease complicated by byproducts of symbiotic bacteria. At their strongest, bacteria complicate disease because the byproducts of bacteria fermentation or putrefaction are deadly poison. In fermentation, the byproducts are iactic acid, acetic acid or vinegar, and alcohol. Putrefaction involves nitrogenous food or proteins. The byproducts of rotten protein are ammonias, indoles, scatols, purines, etc. They are toxic within organisms. Although the body can normally eliminate these poisons, in fact, our feces and urine are loaded with the byproducts of protein decomposition, both from our body decomposition and bacterial decomposition. You've heard of the idea of living in a germ-free environment. That is an impossibility, of course. Trillions of bacteria are in and on our bodies at all times. If we were free of these minute organisms, we'd soon die. They perform many essential services for us, which will be discussed in a later lesson. Suffice it to say that we live symbiotically with bacteria. Bacteria are wrongfully blamed for our indiscretions. It's the rare medic who doesn't find a scapegoat for his client and remove responsibility for problems from the shoulders of the sufferer. Medical logic is not very logical. According to medical thinking, bacteria or viruses invade our bodies and destroy our cells. It would seem that our body defenses permit this by their intimations. Fuck, I'm not going to skip that word. Intimations. Oops. Intimations, an incident or hint. Oh, I don't think that word's in use anymore, intimations, but okay. It would seem that once these invading entities have a head start, they would not stop destroying the rest of the cells of the organism, especially as the first strike has crippled the organism and lessened its ability to defend itself. By medical logic, the bacteria are there in greater numbers, for they proliferate astronomically. Then they've found a feast situation. How can the body reverse this situation and recover? The medics believe that they administer drugs that kill off the bacteria so that the body can have a chance to recover. Also, they have people believe that medicines are healing agents or that they assist in healing. When you start asking deep, penetrating questions into the causes of disease, the medical theories fall of their own weight. They cannot be sustained in the face of self-evident truths. So, we have to find the rational basis of disease causation. Disease as a sole unitary cause. It is instituted and conducted by the body itself. It is the only organized entity capable of concentrating the various processes of disease. Disease is occasioned when toxic materials that have generated within are taken within or taken in the form or taken in from without are uneliminated due to the body's inability to cope with them. These debilitate and devitalize the organism until, at a point, it can no longer tolerate the growing toxic load at its mean level of vitality. The body institutes a crisis, redirecting its body energies to the enemy within. Let's go back to pneumonia. Physicians worry that when a person has a cold or the flu, it will become pneumonia. It occurs to many times among their patients that they make heroic efforts to prevent this. They administer drugs galore, yet pneumonia occurs so frequently despite the drugging that doctors feel powerless in the face of pneumonia. One of the primary causes of death in our society. The question arises, what causes pneumonia then? Does pneumococcus survive the drug onslaught and cause pneumonia anyways? If colds are, as we teach, a cleansing process, how does a body that is in crisis get yet worse if the body is eliminating toxic materials profusely through the respiratory tract, as in colds and flu? Then how do the lungs also become contaminated? All cases of cold and flu recover very quickly if the sufferer goes to bed in an airy room with lots of natural daylight. Most total rest is called for, total abstination from food, but plenty of pure water is needed. And under these conditions, debility ceases in from 1 to 3 days. But if the sufferer refuses to rest, I lost my place. There it is. But if the sufferer refuses to rest and continues to eat the same bad food that contributed heavily to the crisis in the first place, the eliminative effort may be less than the continued toxic buildup, in which case pneumonia may be concomitant. But if the sufferer goes to a medic and gets drugged in addition, the body turns its attention to eliminating the drugs. It may cease the cold or flu altogether in face of the greater enemy. The continued toxic buildup spreads to the lungs. The drugs and toxic material may concentrate so strongly in the lungs as to cause death or to set the stage for cancer. Many autopsies reveal people who have had pneumonia or who had smoked or lived in a highly polluted air have tumors, indurated sacs of lung tissue which encapsulate toxic substances in the lungs. Many cases of long fasts have been conducted in which pneumonia has been suffered many years before. The lungs that had been given had been noted to make their exit from the lungs during the drugs that had been taken, the drugs that had been given had been noted to make their exit from the lungs during the course of fasting, as the body autolyzed the tumors and expelled their contents. Bam, that's how it happens. Oh my gosh. Many cases of fasts have been conducted in which pneumonia had been suffered many years earlier, in which the drugs had been given had been noted to make their exit from the lungs during the course of fast, as the body autolyzed the tumors and expelled their contents. Oh, cancer defeated! Damn. Hey, Waisha, or whatever how you pronounce your name. I'm just pasting this thing. Dun, dun, dun. Let's search for autolysis. Hey, I'm reading something. Let's find an image really quick. Autolysis. You got an image for autolysis? Dude, did you see what happened to me, Catriona? They deleted my other channel now. And they didn't. A similar situation occurred where they gave no reason. They just gave like a form email, said I was a scammer or spamming or something like that. And I'm not spamming. I'm not spamming or scamming. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And then I tried to counterclaim, and they rejected my counterclaim and said, we're keeping your channel terminated. So now I've lost 8 YouTube channels. What do you consider the thing that I'm doing that people are using against me? Do you see it? Hey, Chris Vegan, do you see? That happened last night while I went out. I went out to the hip hop show to see Z Trip, which is uploading right now. I'm uploading Z Trip to another channel, but when I was at the after party and someone's like, "Oh, play the song," they wanted me to sing my "Give Up the Junk" song, and the channel was down. It happened last night after I went out. So what time did I leave the home? Like I left home, the channel was still up. So sometime between midnight and 2 a.m. it happened. That's when it happened. Midnight and 2 a.m. It's 8:58 right now. So that's, go back to noon, then go back before that noon, 12 hours. So that's 20 hours ago. 20 hours ago. YouTube, they did the same thing they did last time. They just sent an email. They said, due to the number of community guideline strikes, severe community guideline strikes, we're terminating your channel because of scamming, spamming, and deception. Misleading. Something about misleading. Misleading people. Scamming, deception, spamming. That's what they're claiming. But they're not saying what. They don't give a reference. They don't say what. And I had no strikes. I had no community guideline strikes whatsoever. There was no community guideline strikes. So someone, like, people say, like Traveler, or what's his name, who's on right now? What's her name's ex-boyfriend? Who she was. You know how violent this girl was to me who's doing this? The first thing I came on YouNow, they were threatening to hit me. You know what I mean? And they've disappeared. They've had several failures and breakdowns, and they're threatening my life if I even talk about her. And they're oh, we're gonna burn your house down and kill you. That's what they said. They made videos showing my address and my house and everything. And they've been blowing up my phone day and night. So they doxed my numbers and my address, everything, right? But they don't communicate effectively, that's for sure. They don't care about communicating. They just want to torture people because, what is the term? Because they have unhappiness within themselves. They want to see someone else suffer like they're suffering. But the thing is, it won't work with me. Because you see how it can't even affect me. I've lost 8 channels, Even the first time I lost a channel, it's like, oh, okay. It's like, I can't let that affect me. And sorry is part of the language of violence. So please, if you could, avoid the use of sorry or apology. Apology is one of the strongest forms of violence in our society. I can read you about it if you want to learn about it. The reason not to apologize. Yeah, so someone's out there last night. So whatever happened on Cheetah's broadcast last night, remember I guessed it on there? Something happened after that. Do what again? Oh no, I'm not. Like I just like it's not. The thing that works. It's not about apology. Is part of a punitive language. Like I deserve to be punished. Like it's like deserved thinking is where it comes from. It comes from punishment, right? Like, did you know I just got blocked on some channel, right? Some girls in Partner Me, the hashtag Partner Me, because they want to make money, right? Because they want to like get on here and then they put up with all these harassment from like Arab men who are sexually harassing them on YouNow, and that's what you see on average, a lot of that. But who are trying to marry them or but generally it's like they try to hold on to like I don't know. Each person's different, right? I can't generalize like that, but in general, you could say that people have gotten raised to deny and to be punished for doing their own intuitive, innate human behaviors of feeling aroused or sexually, enticed based on someone's aesthetics. And because of that, they're getting punished for their behaviors, And I can understand it's like, okay, we want to protect. Protection has important, but in what way do you think a more effective form of protection occurs? From hurting someone or from tricking them with gifts? I don't think so. That's a book I have. It's called Beyond Punishment and Reward. Maybe we can read a little bit of it. I know we're on this reading. Like I was reading about disease. I want to finish reading that disease chapter. This dog's passed out here. But let's look at the book really quick. And I'm going out to party. There's like a international beat music party thing going on tonight. So I'm actually waiting for my videos to upload. And then once they upload, I'll delete. That just sucks. There's not enough room in the world to store all this data. I'm going to find this book off the hand. Oh shit, is that me ringing? Someone's calling me on Facebook? Don Marco. What the hell? Who's Don Marco? Hello?
Jonas.
Yes.
Jonas.
Yes, Don Marco.
Okay.
What's up?
Yo, I just got this watermelon drink.
Oh? Yeah, it's probably pasteurized, huh?
You know what, dude? It says watermelon rind,
Oh, cool.
and organic lemon juice.
Huh.
What do you think about the rind?
Well, watermelon rind, that's actually where my history comes from, actually. I never ate watermelon rind myself, but I'm not against it, but it's what my dad was told.
Because you were saying like inedible parts of fruit aren't supposed to be eaten,
Yeah. Well, the fiber of I found the book. The more nutrients are found in the skins of fruits than in the fruits themselves. But also parts of the things of those nutrients, beyond being just nutrients, you're also going to get a lot of poisons, right? That the plant uses to protect itself from the insects that might want to drill into it, right? So the skins probably have multiple elements. It's like the effect of medicine. Like people think of it as medicine, but I don't like medicine per se. Like I would rather take it easy and think it makes more sense to do nothing. To intelligently do nothing. Like I'm reading about cancer right now and fasting and autolysis, and the autolysis process kicks in when the enzymes of the body start self-digesting. Like they start eating the tumors that have been holding on in your body. Has built all these tumor sacs to protect you from toxic materials that have been exogenous or androgenous, I guess, so internal, external, different ways they come about, and your body has, inflamed and protected itself, as well as what's the thing it's doing? It's like the first thing is stimulation. The second thing is induration. Induration might be the third stage. The first stage, I've got to memorize these things. If I memorize the 7 stages of disease, I can explain it better. But I really got a better understanding of viruses versus bacteria and the difference between the two. Because I have a bunch of videos about that. But, I liked what it was saying. But in reality, this thing I just read gave a lot more meaning to what the medical profession is misleading people to say in order to trick them to take their drugs, which actually turns off the body's healing process in order to emergencyly protect it from those drugs and their effects. And that's why that's why the Koch postulates are so important. Like the Koch brothers, they might own all the gangster hip hop, like Dead Prez and Red, Black, and Green and all that stuff. You know who the Koch brothers are?
Yeah. Okay, but so back to you're into the rinds, even though you're saying they might have to keep the bugs off them.
Yeah. I'm saying that probably will shock the bacteria in your co-stimulate them into being more active. It's kind of like a hot pepper. You know, when people say a hot pepper is going to stop a heart attack or something.
But I thought you were against all those kind of, what did you call them?
Well, I can be against stuff at the same time as be hypocritical in the fact that, it's like, I can't be absolute. If I take absolutist positions, and then, you know, because what's going to happen is you're going to encounter circumstances, you know, where you'll, I mean, I wouldn't eat a tomato leaf, for instance, but because that's highly toxic. Things have different levels. So it's good to be aware, but like, you know, it's trial and error. Like if you test something and say, well, hey, if I try this watermelon rind, fail. And what happened? The reason my dad was told to eat watermelon rind was because he had dysentery after the Navy. That's why, you know, because something he was eating, but he crappy food in the Middle East. I don't know what they, you know, but they wipe their hands with their left and with their right, right? So it's really offensive in Saudi Arabia or anywhere in the Arab world to shake someone's hand with your left hand. Like, just don't do that, otherwise, they're like, whatever. Yeah, that's what he told me at least. But I'm not. I'm a germophiliac. I'm not afraid of germs, and because I'm reading about, they're the helpers. They're the ones who are actually jumping into action. Oh, I should stay with this camera here, otherwise I'm gonna lose my viewers. They're the ones who are jumping into action with helping us to eliminate those toxins. Just like the seaweed of the sea. The seaweed of the sea is eating the toxins within the ocean in order to clean it up. So, like, why would you eat something that's full of the toxins? You know, something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, but watermelon rind. I could look it up more though. I just want to show people this book, Punish.
Well, I just had to call you because I thought it was funny that you were just talking about the rinds.
Yeah.
And this drink has watermelon rind in it.
Oh.
Like they're like proud of that being the ingredient.
Huh. Is it cold pressed? Yeah, because you know what, they probably are proud of it because the rind has less sugar and people have that sugar phobia, like, oh, you need too much sugar and it's going to feed the bacteria and then it's going to, you know, that's what they think. They think that sugar is going to feed diabetes, but you know, it's not just the sugar. I mean, I get it that like if I drank something sweet like watermelon is not supposed to be mixed with other things. Like that's a miscombination in and of itself because they mix lemon juice and watermelon. And you know, like if you look at any food combination chart, they say just eat watermelon alone or any melon alone. Because the acid fruits, yeah, the acids fruit like lemons, they take much longer to digest because of the acids. They have to be broken down by our stomach, our digestive system. Whereas the watermelon's out of your stomach in less than 5 minutes. You know, you're already peeing by the time you ate watermelon. Like 2 minutes later, you're like, I gotta pee again. But it's like the watermelon goes right through us. Whereas fats, avocados might take 4 hours. You know, but like you know, I have a chart on my. I have a chart on my Facebook that says all the different digestion times of different foods.
You know what? I was going to open that PDF file.
That's a cool
Yeah,
PDF.
you got all those cactus fruits.
Yeah, the cactus fruits. Yeah, I got a bunch of cactus fruits.
Yeah, my neighbor had a bunch, and me and my girlfriend were going to go pick them all off, but like, I don't know, he didn't want us to.
That's lame. He wants them to like look pretty or something.
Let them die.
That sucks.
Let them just die.
They just shrivel up and fall off all over the ground. Then it's a mess. That sucks. If you would have picked it off, then it would make it cleaner, and then the next year the cactus would probably grow healthier, you know? It's like orange trees. They want you to pick the oranges off the tree so they can grow healthier oranges. It's like we're part of the process.
My girlfriend wants to know, how do you know that guy, Lenny Ravel?
How do I know Lenny?
New York, because she knows him through like some like health group, and she's just wondering how you guys know each other.
Let me look up my common friends and I might make... Lenny Ravel, there he is. Yeah, there's some people I find that I have common friends with, and they have like one, like someone wants to be my friend, and they only have one common friend, and they're like these odd people. And I'm like, why are these people making friends with like, and they're not a real person. They're like a scammer for like Young Living Oils or something. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, is he a scammer? That's what my girlfriend wants to
I
know.
don't know. I'm trying to look. I'm loading it right now.
Pushing all this stuff. He's like pushing all this stuff, and she's just curious about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it right now. If he's pushing unhygienic stuff, I like getting in fights with those kind of people.
No, he's pushing like hygiene stuff. He's pushing like just like a lot of basic stuff, like anti-vax and like.
So he's a musician.
But you know, I don't know if I agree with his diet or.
Yeah.
I mean,
People are different.
I think you guys would conflict with a lot of stuff on that.
Dude, I've been fighting some guy being angry about grafted trees today. I'm like, dude, if someone's gonna graft a tree, you can't stop them from grafting the tree. I don't care if you think it's less genetic diversity or not. Like, I'm not arguing about you like genetic diversity is unhealthy. I'm just saying, like,
the guy telling you,
I'm just saying that, like, these trees already exist. I'm not grafting trees. Yeah, you say I tried to sell them and I'm trying to market it. I'm like, no, I'm not. He said I'm trying to sell the trees that are grafted. Like, I don't even sell trees. I just pick the fruit of trees that already exist. It's like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, I seen somebody comment on that, and I wanted to know what he was like saying how he's like, yeah, dude, I don't think oranges are good for you because they're a hybrid citrus.
Yeah, people do that. They're like, oh, this is hybrid. This is nightshade. People get so picky, like, oh, that's not organic. I mean, like, that's not even possible. Like, USDA has been lying to us about all their organic. They don't even test. They just, like, paperwork. It's like a fee. It's like paying for your driver's license or paying for your sticker on your license plate, you know? The government's like, we're going to make everybody pay a fee.
Here's the thing with Lenny is he pushes supplements. He's, like, always pushing all these supplements and shit that, like, vitamin B3 and all these oils and shit like that.
That sucks. And he's highly religious, and he's got a lot of spiritual stuff, too. I don't like that one bit, you know? That's what I'm seeing.
You know what? And I was gonna get into this argument with him, and then my girlfriend made me like delete it all.
Yeah, because it's like pointless to argue with people like that sometimes, because you're gonna waste your energy, you know. And that's all he's talking about is energy. Look, energy flows infinite, slow in frequency, and he's trying to like talk in a way that causes people to see him as like thinking he knows way more, or like, oh, he's got such superior knowledge because it's so above my head, when it's really just a bunch of woo-woo, you know.
Yeah, she says that he thinks he's like a prophet, like
Yeah.
he like wants to start this like harem of women.
And he says infinite. You know, when people start using words like infinite and is and are, those are red flags.
Yeah, infinitely like knowledgeable.
That's absolutism again. And I was just talking about absolutism. Like, I would try to tell, I think I even did try to tell Lenny before about looking into the formulations of general semantics and what non-absolutism can do to help him. Then he'd be getting more specific, you know? He wouldn't be like making these...
You know what you said that I've been saying a lot was the language of domination. I've been telling people they're using the language of domination, and it freaks them the fuck out.
And I know it's inherent, though. It comes from the Greeks, right? The Greeks have put it on us, and now that the Polish people have figured it out and reverse engineered it, and we can use general semantics to bring peace and understanding in society, that kind of thing, they don't want to, it's like a tool, you know, it's like drugs. They use drugs to suppress their emotions, so they're used to using those kind of tools in language also to suppress their emotions. All about emotional suppression, I think. But it's really important to go through those emotions. Like, each person, if you provide the conditions, could have these behaviors. So the thing to do is change the conditions, and then you can change the behavior. You know, it's not like blaming someone else for your feelings. It's saying, well, yeah, if someone did something, and if I changed what they did, I would change how I feel. It was not them who caused me to feel, but yeah, it's a chain reaction. I get it, but it's not like, you know, I'm going to say they're going to take responsibility for their actions, feelings, and need, and, you know, actions, feelings, and thoughts, just as I would want to hope to do that for myself. That's like sovereignty, you know? Otherwise, we're like going to be dominated, like my mom trying to say, give me all this to live. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not going to give you money to live. Like, what are you trying to hustle me? You're getting, like, paid by the government money now that you're 65. You even took off out of the country. You know, I got renters for you. You know what I mean? Like, don't think about me as someone who you're going to get money from. I'm just, like, want to live comfortable and easy. You know, like, the easier I live, the less stress I put on myself, the happier I am. So I see it.
That's what I was telling them. At Long-Known Publishing, I was asking them if they can order a book for me, and then they said I was obligated to buy it.
They're closing down.
Oh. And I was like, well, I'm not obligated to buy it if you order it. Like, what do you, like, you're gonna call the police on me? And then I told her, I was like, you're using the language of domination, and she's like, I don't even know what that is. Like, you made that up.
Have to.
I was like, no,
Amtssprache. It was who is it in the trial of the Nuremberg trials when? What was the guy's name? The guy in the concentration camp? No, it's it's like a German guy from the World War II who was in on the trial when they were about the concentration camps, and they said, how did you do it? And he said, oh, it was easy to do it. We used the language of Amtssprache, have to, must, got to, and need to, and should. And I was like, oh, yeah. So, what was his name? I can look it up. Wasn't that how, you know, the four things of domination? When you remove the 4 parts of domination, it just makes.
Yeah, because I've read that a few points before, but they called it a normative claim, like using the words ought and should.
Yeah.
Like you can't say that shit because nobody should do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a choice. We could do it if we wanted to. You know, it's a cause and effect situation. It's like, yeah, there's outcomes, there's consequences to actions. As soon as I understood consequences and actions, like everything else changes, and you're like, yeah, consequences and action. I can get rid of like everybody's telling me these weird. They're just repeating things they heard from someone else. We're all like word monkeys, you know. So we're just like repeating what we heard from someone else. And I mean, like even this woman singing on YouNow here, her child inside of her is probably absorbing those frequencies and tonalities of what she's doing, you know. Mm. Look at these tomatoes I got at the market. I traded for some oranges. They're delicious. They're like little black and red tomatoes. Really good. Do you know?
Okay, I looked at some article that you posted a while ago, and I think it was saying tomatoes are bad
Really?
for you.
The plant, maybe if they're not ripe. That's dumb.
Garlic and onion.
Really? Why would tomatoes say? I don't think it's tomatoes. I think it's like.
It was like all Italian food, and that's why I was like, shit. Well, what can I eat? You know what I mean?
That's dumb. Yeah, people, they're like individuals, like bad and good. Those are more trigger words for me. I'm like, red and bad and good. They're like, what did it do? I want to know the chemicals. I want to know the specifics.
You know what's so funny is when you call people out for using aggressive language.
Yeah. Yeah. They get angry. They avoid you or they block you.
I was gonna do that to you. I was gonna call you out and say, Jonas, you're using aggressive language.
But and the thing about that is like Marshall Rosenberg says, each thing that someone does when a child says no is a song about it. You know, it's a beautiful gift. You know, that's a gift to their unmet needs. They wouldn't be doing that if there wasn't a need that they share, that you share, that they're trying to meet. Maybe the way they're trying to meet it might differ than the way you're trying to meet it, and it's going to take you fighting until both of you can agree a way that goes forward and both people can like get something out of it. And that takes a long time sometimes. The consensus process.
You were arguing with the pregnant man.
The pregnant man? Who's that?
You said some man that looked like.
Oh yeah, I said, "Are you pregnant?" I said that on YouNow, huh? Who was that?
His belly was so fucking fat.
No, that was a girl. That was that girl. Her name was Diane Claymore.
That was a guy.
Well,
It was a guy, and you're like,
really?
I don't know how this guy's pushing health. But
Oh,
like, you look at him, it looks
oh.
like he's pregnant.
Well, that guy's actually done better now. He's that Indian guy in Gilbert, right? He's having the potlucks on Monday.
Yeah, the one, the raw food potluck.
The cooked and raw. He like cooked and raw, and he said people on all fruit are crazy or something like that. He's like,
feeding him all of this like food.
and then, but you know what it is his wife that's cooking for him, and he went to India and he learned something about avoiding things. I think he took out cooked complex carbohydrates from his diet, and that made a big difference, and he's not as bloated anymore. And that's what I was just reading about, inflammation, induration. It's your body protecting you and forming little sacs in your gut, you know, to protect you from those things, which, you know, you could call them medicine if you want, but it's just holding on to a little, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, you know Kenny from the farmer's market?
I'm gonna eat the rinds of the water. I'm gonna try to smash it or blend them up in a blender and eat it all.
Yeah.
'Cause this drink was like $4, dude.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like of a real watermelon, you mean? Like not one that's made from a drink, yeah.
Real watermelon.
Yeah, like you just juice
What do
them.
you think about the seedless watermelon and the seed?
Yeah, people are all big on that too. You know, the reason we have seedless watermelon is for our convenience. You know what I mean? It's like we did that. You know how long it took? It took people like energy. Like people put work into making that. And it's not like seedless watermelon's seedless. There's still little seeds in there, just less seeds. So yeah, I get it. They've selectively bred it in order to make it so that they have very rarely seeds, those watermelons.
You think the watermelons with the more seeds are like have more like nutrients in them anyways?
I don't even have the tools to measure that, so I don't. You know, some people say that, but you know, until I see the actual data on it, you know, I'd question it a little bit. I'd be like, you know, I'm not against buying these watermelons over at the. I'm gonna go over there to Food City. What's 14 cents a pound right now? You know, I'm like, I'm not gonna miss out on that. I love watermelon.
Yeah, I just had to call you because you were just talking about that. This drink I got was like big on the watermelon rind. I was like, well, that's a new one I've never heard.
You notice the price of everything's just going up and crazy. That'd be like $1.99 drink a year ago.
Yeah, you know what? I'm never even getting it again.
It's crazy how
I'm
things.
just gonna start making it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we live in a world of like we're headed for the dollar failure. Everybody knows that the dollar is going to failure because it's based on nothing, you know. And like it's just a big heist, and the whole world's waiting for it to happen, but like nobody wants to let it happen because everybody's too uncomfortable. Like, oh no, it's like anxiety. Like the whole world's in this state of frozen anxiety. Like they want to keep going on and having the fun. You know, it's not. They're not even having that much fun. Kombucha. I used to make a lot of kombucha. I used to make kombucha, and sure, it introduces more bacteria. You know, it's just bacteria living off of the sugars in the thing, right? Eating it. It's like that's the self-digestion process. At least it's living. But at the same time, it's like I had it and I used to drink it, but I don't. I think like Lauren Lockman says, you know, how like the gut already has all these bacteria, like all those bacteria are already in our body at all times. We don't need to like accumulate extra of it, you know. It's just like just feed it the stuff that it eats, you know. Like I don't need to make the kombucha and add sugar because that's what you're doing when you're making kombucha. You're making tea with sugar. You're actually buying refined sugar and you're double heating that sugar because the sugar got heated to get made in the first place. So you've rechanged that chemicals twice. Like, how could you make a raw food kombucha? Because I don't think any kombucha could really be called raw because of sugar had to get used to make the tea, you know, and tea had to get dried and, you know, whatever they do to dry tea or, I don't know.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah, you just add the organic sugar to the tea and, you know, and then it dilutes and make the, yeah, it's just tea.
Yeah, we had to put tea and sugar.
It's the SCOBY, and the SCOBY will live forever, like in the jar without even giving it tea for years, and I was like, oh shit, I got SCOBY in my closet I forgot about.
Yeah, ours multiplied. We had like 8 of them living in one jar.
Wow, they
I
probably,
don't know what to fucking do. That was like,
yeah, throw them away or it makes the tea faster, but compost.
fucking, yeah, it looked like it was like molded. I'm like, I'm not eating that. I'm drinking that crap.
Are you going to the palace tonight?
But she gets them every day almost. No, what's happening there? We just, like, went and got some, we're kind of just cruising around.
Maddie P's coming from New York City to play like
Gentrification?
Serbian disco, yeah. Serbian disco and Brazilian beats, Brazilian Afro beats. I think it's gonna be fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in Tempe, so I'm probably gonna like go. I'm trying to go to this kid's house, but I keep messaging him. He's not answering. He's just kind of like fucking always away from his phone.
I found a pomelo tree in Tempe yesterday on the way home. I was so excited. It's still loaded with pomelos. Every other pomelo tree I know is like the wind knocked them all off. Those winds the other day messed up all the lemon situation and all the pomelos and all the tangelos and everything. Like, only thing left is like the hardcore oranges.
My girlfriend just wants to ask you what you think about random shit.
Random shit.
Like she just said, what do you think about cherries?
Jeremy? Jared? Subway? No.
No cherries.
Oh, cherries. I think I have a pile of cherry pits right here. No, I need to find it was messed up. At El Super, there was a 99-cent cherry deal, right, on Wednesday, but they ran out. I think I forgot to get the rain check, or maybe it's still happening because it's a weekly sale. Or was that Sprouts? I think that was Sprouts. One of them has 99-cent cherries this week. But I want a cherry pitter. Like I'm super annoyed of having to bite half the cherry, spit the seed out, and like I want to be able to get all the cherries and de-pit them and then blend them, but I can't do that. I just bite everyone.
Yeah, that's how we were doing with the olives. We were getting like trying to pit all these olives and like put them in this like fucking water.
A lot of work. Yeah.
Because they're a pain in the ass to like put on shit.
I know, huh? It's a pain in the ass to deal with tangerines. It's a pain in the ass to do.
Wants to know what do you think about olives?
You have to cure them. I like them when I find them on the ground and they taste like avocados, and they're perfectly ripe on their own. I've seen that. I like those, but that's rare. That's only like one time of the year.
Give you a rapid fire. She said, Jonas, what do you think about Lenny Ravel? Jonas, what do you think about olives?
I prefer to feel. It's better to feel than think, huh? So how do I feel? But yeah, Lenny Ravel. I feel Lenny Ravel is probably slightly diluted, but you know it's religious. I don't know where he gets it from, but he's high. You know, he's on a high level. I mean, that's what people get. Like Dan the Man, like you get really excited and really so much energy. Like I'm out there picking fruit, and I'm like, oh, there's so much to do. I can't do it all. I have to limit myself. You know, it's important to like find out how to to say, okay, I only have so much energy. I can't climb 50 palm trees. I can only climb maybe 20.
Yeah, she's known him for a while. I didn't even know who he was. I was just reading his stuff on his page, and I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's the kind of person like
You guys knew each other.
I'm wondering, like, people like that, people that, like, I know, who I don't know, they don't need to be my friends. Otherwise, other people say, oh, you agree with what they say or something. They can follow me if they want. I don't care, but, it's like, to have friends with people who are, like, who you don't know in real life and who you don't agree with, on, like, 5, 6 reasons. I mean, if you watch that video from Lauren Lockman about absorption of nutrients, Yeah, a lot of fear tactics too, huh? Like people like that, that's what happens. We're operating by fear. Like people act out of our impulses, of our feelings, right? If we feel scared, yeah, we're gonna make this action like, oh, and I get it, and that's self-protective. Then that's the reason to stay alive. We're staying alive by, being precautious, I guess.
I've just been watching fucking like Twin Peaks on Netflix
Mm.
or on Showtime.
Oh, man, these tomatoes make my forehead sweat.
Well, I remember you making that fucking tomato drink
Oh, tomatoes.
when you were doing that About Me video.
Oh yeah, the tomato
like
smoothie. I have a tomato soup to make right now with some
You're a
salt.
fucking messy ass person.
Yeah, I got.
You didn't even put the lid on the blender, dude. There's shit everywhere. There's flies.
Oh
And you're,
man.
like, making this video like, well.
I know. I don't even. I have a car that I've never cleaned. I've never like washed my car ever. I'm like, why? I don't have the energy for that. I don't care. I mean, I could. I could use my energy for that if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Like, it kind of stops people from asking you for money and stuff if you have a car.
My car's pretty fucking nasty, so I didn't clean up.
People don't bother you too much. My door handles are kind of broken. All kinds of stuff. I don't know. But at least it runs on vegetable oil.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna let you go though.
All right. I saw Tato today at the market. I didn't say hi, but.
Alright, peace out.
Peace out till next. Who's in my chat? 5 people in here? 6 people? 4 people? Belinda's still with me. Duchess is even here now, huh? Australia in the house. Oh my gosh, and we're finished. We're disease. Where are we at? Let's go back to pneumonia. Physicians worry that when a person has a cold, the flu, it will become pneumonia. If colds are, as we teach, a cleansing process, I went through that, all cases of colds and flus recover quickly if the sufferer goes to bed in an airy room with lots of natural daylight. That's why I fell asleep in the sun the other day. That was great. I felt great when I woke up after sleeping in the sun with my window open. Almost total rest is called for. But if the sufferer goes to a medic and gets drugged in addition, the body turns its attention to eliminating the drugs. In many cases, the cold or flu altogether in face of the greater enemy, the continued toxic buildup spreads to the lungs. Yep, I read that. Many cases of here we go. The drugs and toxic materials may concentrate so strongly in the lungs as to cause death or to set the stage for cancer. That's where I stopped reading. Many autopsies reveal people who have had pneumonia or have smoked or lived a highly polluted air have tumors, indurated sacs of lung tissue, which encapsulate toxic substances in the lungs. Many years before, the drugs that had been given had been noted to make their exit from the lungs during the course of the fast as the body autolyzed the tumors and expelled their contents. And I already pasted that, right? I sure did. Oh shit. What's going on with my browser? It's crashing out. Fuck. Fucking Firefox. I'm so sick. Is Firefox failing? Does people think Firefox is failing, or is it just they don't give support to people on XP? They're like, fuck you, you got XP. If you're not keeping up with the newest Windows, we don't care about you one bit. Oh, Jamie met me? Or did I click on her name accidentally? No, maybe I clicked on her name. Fuck. I haven't heard from Jamie in a while. She's like one of the few people who bought my dates. I'm gonna let these ripen more. Jade. No way, this is Jade from Australia in the house? No way. That'd be so cool. Oh, it says Thailand. Oh yeah, it is Jade. Jade in Thailand. What? That's so cool. Did you see what happened, Jade? They deleted my YouTube account. And they said they didn't give me a reason. They just said, I'm scamming. I think there's a war on hygiene. I hope it's not a larger war. They don't like the message that I'm putting. They say it's deception. It's misinformation. That's what they said in the email. Google, YouTube, right? Said to me, and they denied my counterclaim. Fuck. I put so much work into my channels, and I 9 years of videos, 6,000 videos. Sure, I only have 5,000 viewers and subs. It's not fair. I think it's part of this Order 66 thing, these people who are anti-vegans that are going around pretending to be vigilantes for children's welfare, and they're attacking people. And they've made an Order 66 of me. They made a video of my house, like they made my phone number, my address, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, what? I guess I'm kind of public anyways, but they're doing it maliciously, telling people to burn my house down. Oh, look at these beautiful tomatoes I got at the farmer's market today. I gotta wait for them to ripen more. So maybe. Oh, let's juice some. I'm still uploading 54 minutes. I'm uploading. I don't know if you know who Z-Trip. Z-Trip's a DJ, and he's from Phoenix here, and he had a big night last night. It's called the Blunt Club. You know, people who like blunt means like people put like a cigarello and they break it open and then they put weed in it, and then you know what a blunt is probably, but it's called the Blunt Club. It's like where hip hop lives in Arizona. But I got these pomelos, and I want to make I gotta use them because I don't think I'm taking them to market tomorrow because I have a limited fuel in my car, and I run my car on vegetable oil, and I only have I'm down to the reserve tank. So look at my smoothie glass. I gotta have like a big smoothie glass, 1,000 calories. You need a bunch. But there's a few pomelos here. These pomelos are really big. You see, they're like big grapefruits, but they're not sour. And I found a tree full of them. But there's two. This is the one right here? No, maybe one. There's two of them that are on the edge. There's one with a hole in it, and there's one that's soft a little bit. And I gotta juice them just because otherwise they're gonna ferment and rot. And we don't want fermentation and rotting in my freaking living room. Where is it? But yeah, you're like, yeah, Jade, or New Zealand's fun. I just had some girl from New Zealand block me here on YouNow because she's mad that I took a moment of her. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not disrespectful that I took a moment. It's like appreciative because I liked your music. You know, it was like your voice was pretty and you were singing. And she's like, oh, it was ugly. And I'm like, well, I didn't. That's your judgment. I'm not saying that. I just made the moment, you know, and said I'm going to make a video of the moment because I thought it was cool. And she was all angry. Yeah, you love pomelos? What? They grow in Thailand also? Cool. Dang, are you staying in Thailand permanently or what? That's cool. Oh, you want a guest? I'd totally have guessed you. That'd be so cool. I got grapefruits too. I got grapefruits. They're getting harder. Like citrus season's almost over. So these are the grapefruits that I only have the fruit left that people didn't want to buy. People don't want to buy it because it's ugly. But just because it's ugly doesn't mean it doesn't taste good. It's just, it might be harder skin. It's just ready to Yeah, that one's bad. See, you never know what's going to be dried out, because it's like that far in the season that things are dried out. Thailand? So are you there now, and you're seeing all these people who are fighting about the festival and this, what's the guy's name? Damn, none of them are good? Uh-oh. I might have sold some people some junk pomelos. Only two of them. I only sold two of them. Like people are hesitant, when there's something new. Like they don't like carob. I gotta explain carob for like 5 minutes before anybody will buy carob. I gotta be like, this is carob. Carob's this way. Smell it, and I gotta sniff it and taste it and understand that it's like a substitute for chocolate that's naturally sweet. But it's not the easiest thing to do is selling carob. Time to go out and dance too here, but I don't know. It's not time to yet. Like, there's a international beat music night tonight. We're gonna be playing Brazilian music and Serbian music. Yeah, jeez, The thing is, I have a broken juicer, so I have to cut. I cut my citrus open. What's this dog want? What do you want, dog? You're watching me. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I don't know. It doesn't know. It just likes to lay on the ground where it's cool, like the tiles. But, right? Where's this oranges? Who is messing with my YouTube? It's those people. It's like the guy's name is Alan Dean or something. Dean Allen, I think.
He's the boyfriend of that Marissa, whatever her name is, who I first met when I first came on YouNow. It's one of these girls I met on YouNow, and she said she would bank me, and I was like, and he said no. She took it personal or something. I don't know what happened. But I guess she's struggling with drug addiction. Like, she's the person who could use and benefit from natural hygiene and raw foods, like many people have overcome their prior, addictions to toxins. But she's in a fight. I think she's in domestic violence situations and stuff. So she's creating negativity for herself rather than escaping from that kind of weird energy, I don't know. But then, I think they're taking it out on other people for their own misery. They're feeling anger, but that doesn't help because that just perpetuates a situation where people suffer, and then more people spreads the suffering. I guess that's can you see the argument that I'm making about misanthropy versus humanism, where people either don't care about human life, they're self-destructive, and they want people to get vasectomies and end human life, and they're very negative towards humanity in general. But then someone who has a humanistic point of view cares about humans, cares about humans first, actually, and they understand their own benefit matters as an individual. But then the other side of it comes into new welfare and abolition. So new welfare and abolition cross humanism and misanthropy. I feel like it's a 4-quadrant system where you can say, well, how misanthropic or how humanistic, and then the other scale would, how much do I care about animal welfare in abolition, in animal rights advocacy. There's 2 different groups in animal rights, generally. The people who want to do sanctuaries and care about animals and have lots of pets, and they want to perpetuate the human use and control of animals because of historical or cultural significances or codependence, whatever you want to call it, because people do get a benefit out of it, but it creates a situation, where the animals that live with us, they don't stay healthy because they get the diseases that we have because of the refined food. So I got enough. So I'm going to make some noise here. It's going to get loud for a second. So bear with me if you're here. Man, I'm so bummed out about my YouTube channel coming down. That sucked, man. I thought I was in the clear. I've not violated community guidelines. What are they saying is my violation? I wish they would tell me what my violation was. What is it specifically that I did that gives them the reason to terminate me? They never say. They don't tell me. So if I knew specifically, I'd avoid doing that. But if I don't know, it's going to happen again. They're going to take my channel down, and they're going to tell me, oh, you're deceptive and whatever. And I'm like, what? So is it someone? And I know I'm working really hard against the medical profession. And they don't like that, I'm sure. Because I've busted so many freaking plant-based doctors as far as not understanding hygiene. And, whatever, I think it's important. I think that's a craft in America. That's a heritage of the world in order to stay healthy. Every creature has its hygiene. Thank you for stopping by, Jade. Hey. Okay, Jade's my favorite. Hey, everybody check out. If people are here, check out Jade's YouTube channel. What the heck? Oh, I wish you'd link it. What was the name of it? It's called Raw something. But it's super educational, informative, and covers the wide range of topics. oh shit, there's no Goblin show tonight because they said there's too much heat. My friends were doing like this play, like a production, like of a play or some kind of act, comedy or something. But because of the heat, they cancel it because they said it's too hot. I don't think so. I mean, if they were eating raw food, they wouldn't say that. It's not that. It's like actually a pretty cool day. It might have gotten to 100 degrees today, but it didn't go to like 110 or 120. It wasn't even that hot. Oh, here's some fruit leather. Look, I got 2 pieces of fruit leather. I had no bags to put these in, but this is fruit leathers. The prickly pear fruit leather. Prickly pear fruit leather. Let's de-seed this. Right. Whoa! Oh yeah! That's power. That's powerful. You got fresh squeezed juice. There's no question. Someone was telling me they were making fresh squeeze like at the Joe Bot or something like that. They had some drink that was based on like grapefruits, some kind of like mojito, some kind of alcoholic drink, right? But they were making out of fresh grapefruits, and when they ran out of the cost to make fresh grapefruits, they didn't have the money. It was my friend Jason, and he said when they didn't have the money it wasn't affordable to use fresh grapefruits further. That when they were buying canned grapefruit juice, it wasn't even the same thing. It wasn't even like delicious and like it was messed up. So flavor is off. Fresh for life. Mmm.
And they said I had I had no strikes, and they said because of the amount of strikes I had. I didn't have any strikes. How can they say because of the amount of strikes I had when I had no strikes? What? That's so fucked up. That was my argument and my counterclaim, and they didn't accept it. Fuck. Oh, 6 people. A new person here. Who came? Someone want a guest? Someone have a question? I wanted to go get a memory card. It's too late now. It's 10 o'clock. The palace starts at 10. Let me message Jill. I'm gonna fucking message Jill. So I'm gonna say, now that your production's not happening, what happened? I know. They say it was strikes. I didn't have any strikes that I know about. I did not receive a single strike. I didn't have a single strike, not a violation of a guideline strike, and not a copyright strike. But the email I got that said that my channel was terminated said because of the number of severe strikes, severe in quotes, severe is the term, and it is based on misinformation and deception. So are they saying that what I'm saying I can't say? What? Because of the information is deceptive? They want to consider people talking about health, natural health, as a thing that needs to be shut down on YouTube? Is that true? Like, other people are doing that, I thought. Or is it because of me mixing it with politics? Because I do mix it with politics. I was calling out Stephen Colbert. I said Stephen Colbert is perpetuating the mainstream ideology on disease causation and contagion and doesn't understand hygiene in his argument against Trump's budget or whatever it was. Do you think that NBC would have been the one that has the power to shut me down on YouTube? Or was it the Order 66 and Wheezy? Because they don't tell you who. They're not going to say, oh, this is the person. And if you have a copyright strike, it tells you who gave you the copyright. It gives you the opportunity to counterclaim and to apply for fair use. And you can say it's transformative, it's derivative work, it's fair use, it's comedy, it's educational, it's not commercial. And then you win. If they don't want to hire a lawyer, but if they do want to hire a lawyer, you have to hire a lawyer, and then you send papers in to Google, and you go through a court proceeding over the frickin' matter, and then Google accepts what the court says. That's what Google does. You think the Colbert Nation fans went after me because they're so hardcore liberals? They're like hardcore liberal ideology where they want the government to like enforce like control over people. Like, I'm not that hardcore Trump, but like, I'm definitely not pro frickin' like made up fucking government tyranny California seatbelt laws and helmet laws. I don't agree with helmet laws or seatbelt laws. Like, if I voted to say I don't want to wear helmets and I don't want to wear seatbelts if I don't want to, that's my choice to put my life at risk. No one else can tell me you can't put your life at risk or we're gonna fine you for it. That's just doesn't work. I wish I truly knew. It would be beneficial to me to know what the purpose was, what the cause was, who did this, how did it happen. If I don't know cause, that's what hygiene's all about, is understanding cause. And here I am, left uninformed and without even understanding. This isn't like disease where I know, okay, it's because I didn't sleep enough or it's because I was stressed out or I ate something that was poisonous or miscombined or, I can figure that out, but like, but this, oh man. The community guidelines has so many freaking things. You can't even make a video about someone who doesn't want a video made about. You know what I mean? Like if that video I made about Charlotte when she was on the couch talking about all males dying and she wants all men to die and she wants to just clone sperm and kill us all. Like if she would complain, that video would go down and I would receive a strike for that because but she doesn't have any. She's like on meth and more drunk than ever and that's what I heard at least. That sucks, man. I tried to help her so hard. She came to make me a crash pad in order to avoid accountability. And she did try, though. I can't say she didn't try. I wouldn't say she didn't try, but she didn't put that much effort into trying. She gave a half effort, not even a half effort. She gave like a tenth of an effort to try to get over her problems. She said, I was at your house, I didn't eat one thing. And I'm like, what are you saying? Like, I have a lot of food. I have always infinite food abundance. Sure, I can say agree with her. She ate no fruit, but she did eat a lot of crap that she bought with her food stamp card at the store. All vegan food, all that fake vegan food. She had it. She had tons of it too. Yeah, it had the comedy. It was on comedy. Yeah, if I wouldn't have changed the name to criticize Colbert, they probably would have liked it. They'd be like, ha ha ha, yay, Trump, fuck him. But I made it like teach you something about hygiene and how Colbert thinks Colbert is going down. And Colbert's already stressed out, I'm hearing, right? Because there's some controversy about something he said that put him on the fence. I don't know what it was exactly, but if I look it up, I can remember. But it was something to do with racism or sexism or Trump or something. Something he said that people said was over the line, But in reality, it's who cares? This is the freedom of speech. Say what you want to say. That's what journalism is about. You can be a fake journalist, a real journalist. It's up to people to make up their own mind. But yeah, it's unfair to trick people, sure. But woo, that is strong. That is some good grapefruit juice. The grapefruit, the oranges, and the pomelo together. Wow, I'm gonna fly, man. I had breakfast orange juice. What I have for lunch? What I ate today at the middle of the day? I don't think I ate anything. I came home and went to bed because I was tired because I only got 1 hour of sleep last night because I was partying all night. I was at the jam session at the Pueblo. The Pueblo's like a little old garage in a Victorian house that we have all these musical instruments and microphones and everybody just jams all night. All night, man. We were jamming all night. And I saw Anya there. Anya is so cool. Anya's like a clothes designer. And she's been 3 years clean, no alcohol. Hell yeah. She's like Anya, obviously Russian, but yeah, she's like, yeah, that was cool. But I should message her. Be like, that's how you do it, right? If you want to keep in touch with someone, you make an effort. Anya Melkeronova. Oh yeah, Jill. Let's do a phone level. Phone level. Here we go. Fuck Facebook. It's all about the phone. Here we go. Now that Goblin got cancelled, will I see you at the palace? Oh, woo! Yeah, it's really good. Simple. 3 citruses together, and it's fresh, all freshly made. All with the ugly citruses that nobody would buy because they're ugly, but just because they're ugly doesn't mean they're not good anymore. Mmm. Mmm. Wow! That's electrifying, you know? Just like I just read about electricity in the body, how they got electro sleep. That was interesting, right? The electro sleep thing I read. How 2 hours of an electrical frequency, they can give people a compensation for the sleep that would have what sleep would have given you can get from electrical currency. That's scary to think about, that people are living on electrical sleep, right? But it's possible. Where am I at? Where am I at? Oh no, I got the itch. I got the induration. No. A continued toxic buildup spreads to the lungs. The drugs and toxic material may concentrate so strongly in the lungs as to cause death or set the stage for cancer. Many autopsies. That's the one I put, right? Yet, despite the obvious cause of pneumonia, medical professionals are still saying that pneumococcus causes pneumonia, when in fact, more than 25% of pneumonia cases never had pneumococcus. Now that medic getting more and more away from the germ theory of disease causation, they're involving viruses as the culprits. This is true only if by viruses we mean uneliminated metabolic wastes. But when you start probing into what viruses are and how they cause disease, you might call this the quote-unquote evil spirit theory of disease, for the medics imbue viruses with all the qualities of a benevolent spirit. Damn. It's true, too, huh? Like, the medical profession, they act like it's... Oh my shit, where do I want to copy that from? Now that medics are getting more away, okay. Such blindness characterizes the medical profession. The purpose of disease is so evident that medics can't see it. Just as with the guard in the concentration camp, they are looking for something that doesn't exist, and they overlook that which they see so plainly all the time. Medical researchers have chronicled over 20,000 different diseases. They name almost every variation. They have multiple names because of the number of organs and tissues, systems they exhibit, symptoms. I already read all this, huh? All of this is only one disease, and all diseases which we call constructive disease is occasioned by the body itself and is known as toxemia or toxicosis. You think it's them? I don't think it's them, though. I think it's still Wheezy from what I said on the Vegan Cheetah podcast, or the Vegan Cheetah broadcast when I guested on Cheetah. I think they were listening and they got pissed off, and then they went and attacked my channel because they didn't want that. Because that's why. Because why did Cheetah's thing happen and my thing happen? I suspect the same source. That it's this Wheezy character. His name is Dean Allen Burns. You can look him up on Facebook. You'll find him, Dean Allen Burns. And he does a lot of fake pedophilia hunting, so he pretends to go after people who are something towards children, but he's making it up, and he has no evidence, and he's just making it up. It's just like some boy might have hit on his daughter, and then he's gonna fucking beat up and threaten to kill this boy. That's not a very nice person. Like, I'm sure, that would only drive his daughter maybe to like that boy more. What are we reading? We're reading about disease. Disease? Cancer? Some kid had cancer, and I wanted to explain to him how it's easy to beat cancer. through the autolysis process. Just as there is one universal cause of disease, there is one universal panacea. In mythology, Asclepius had two daughters. Both were goddesses. One was the goddess of health, and she was called Hygiene. The other was called Panacea. She was the goddess of healing. The name itself in hygiene means all healing and universal healing. While these goddesses are mythological, they do represent valid concepts. Panacea can be achieved by a return to natural practices. Fasting is the quickest way to invoke the universal panacea. Just as the universal disease is a toxin-laden body, the universal panacea is establishing the most ideal conditions under which the body can clean itself of the toxicity and repair the damage suffering. Fasting is the answer. It works in all cases of constructive diseases, that is, disease where organic damage of an irremediable nature has not occurred. To lose weight, fasting again. Some great luminaries have long since rediscovered the Grecinia panacea. The thing about fasting, though, you do not want to fast and continue to have a normal life. You want to, if you read the book, go to my Scribd, and it says the 9 stages of fasting. You want to have total rest, meaning like not even thinking if you can help it, like trying not to move and get people to help you. You want someone to help you with the fast who has experience, who's gone through a fast themselves or has measurement stuff to measure your, test your blood pressure, make sure you're not losing more than 4% a day, stuff like that. But my friend, she just did a 40-day fast and she lost 15 pounds. Maybe that's what she wanted, but it's really about cleaning the body, and she felt energetic as ever. Oh yeah, water. Just sip water. You don't want to gulp a bunch of water. Just sip water to keep yourself hydrated. Because your body, we can live for 9 months with no food. And the body, what it does is it converts and it turns into eating the fat as the energy when you're not eating food. Because that's what the body stored the fat. But the thing about it is, you might want to have someone watching you and control, or maybe when you want to cease the fast, if something's happening, or because what's going to happen is the stuff that is inside your body's protecting itself from, and that's why the fat's there in the first place, is because your body was protecting you from toxic stuff, and the fat accumulated and as a way to protect you and store it because it couldn't get rid of it. Like I said, it was overwhelmed and it had to go into toxemia crisis and heal itself, has to pack it away, right? But that stuff's going to come back out, and you're going to get high again from the drugs and the poisons of the cooked food that you've eaten previously. The dirty air you breathe, etc. Woo! This is electrifying. You feel like electrocuted when you drink a freaking citrus that's so fresh like this. Some great luminaries have long since rediscovered the Grecian panacea. Dr. Jennings first employed it until Dr. John Tildren elaborated on it in his scholarly book, Toxemia Explained. That's the next book I'm writing. I'm rewriting this book. Dr. Hereward Carrington wrote a very illuminating volumes about natural hygiene. But Dr. Shelton probed deeper and farther afield than did all those before him. He built upon the shoulders of all who went before him and added a touch of his own genius. In our text section from Observances of Dr. Carrington are presented. Here is a quote from Herbert Shelton about the nature of disease. Hygienic system teaches that disease is a remedial effort, a struggle of the vital powers to purify the system and recover to normal state. This effort should be aided, directed, and regulated if need be, but never suppressed. What is this mysterious thing called disease? It is simply an effort to remove obstructing materials, which we call toxic materials, from the organic domain and repair damages. Disease is a process of purification and repair. It is a remedial action. It is a power struggle to overcome obstruction and to keep the channels of circulation free. Damn, Shelton was a genius, man. There's nobody like Herbert Shelton. They shut down They shut down 6 schools. He opened 6 schools, and the government shut down every school because they don't want him to teach what he's saying. Because what he's saying undermines the whole society and medical profession and their lies that they've made in order to profit off of the sickness of people. And the sickness of people, where did it came from? Their own habits. I might end this stream. If it's 2 hours, perfect. And it's 10 o'clock, the music's starting. But the thing is, my phone is still uploading the videos from last night. But I have enough of the videos uploaded from last night that I can delete the ones that did upload so far and have room for the others. But it says 23 minutes. I'd wait 23 minutes. I can wait 23 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I can wait 23 minutes for sure. I think that's the last video anyways. The other 3 videos are from the jam session. No, that's from the night before. Yeah, fuck those. Those are from the Wednesday night Uptown, and I don't even care about that. That wasn't that good. Nobody danced. This one little Asian DJ guy, he played only crunk-ass mainstream bullshit. I don't even like crunk-ass twerk music. Or what do they call it? Trap? Trap? Ugh. But, no one can dance to trap. Let's play some trap. Let's see, what's the new music today? Let's do that. And we'll end this stream with a preview of the new music released today. You ever been to Plixid.com? The website's called Plixid, Plixid. Fuck. I'm gonna kill my browser. I got time for this bullshit. Firefox. Trippin' Firefox. You trippin', Firefox. Oh. You crash it and then it restores. It's annoying as fuck. 21 minutes. 21 minutes of frickin' hip hop music. Let's do this. I don't think that they're taking my channel down for my hip hop music. I don't think so. But I remaster a lot of quality old school music. I don't think so. I doubt that. But it could be someone complaining about me doing something and they're making it up and that's justified. Like they figured out a trick how to shut people down. For sure. This lady's a Trump robot. Yeah. We know that. Hold on. I have this video on garlic. I re-uploaded. I gotta copy a link. I got so much stuff to re-upload. I can't believe how much fucking... Oh shit. I did good yesterday as far as... I really don't want to lose this channel. Hey, Steph the Cat Lady, did you see what Order 66 took down another channel of mine with fake complaints? Or so. I don't know, they didn't even take credit for it, but no one else could have done it. And they also disconnected Cheetah's YouTube. They struck Cheetah's YouTube so we can't have live stuff anymore. I don't know. Who knows? There's no way to know. Because the YouTube doesn't tell you which video they did it to, there's no proper way to respond. No way to respond exists. And when you counterclaim and say you didn't do the thing they said you did do, they just tell you, fuck you, your channel's staying down. We terminated you. Oh yeah, it's gotta be. There wouldn't be anybody else. Olga told me it was them too. Because she's in their circle and they're talking about it. Not super in their circle. They don't like her that much. They want to get rid of her because they want to destroy the friendship that she has with that friend. But that person is losing it. They're back on heroin and they're doing horribly. They're really bad off. Like, I haven't seen Marissa on here in a long time, right? Because she's suffering. She's probably on here trolling and just making up fake accounts, but in order just to watch. There's no such thing as Order 66. It's just Dean Allen Burns and his attacks on some boy who hit on his daughter. Just a misguided, abusive father. who's destroying the lives of other people or their properties and threatening them because within himself he hasn't found peace. He's highly drug addicted as well to pills. Have you seen these guys? They sit there acting like it's the coolest thing in the world to crush up pills and snort them. That's what they do all day. Have you seen Connie and Ghostface and Wheezy do that? I have friends who do that, so I've seen them do it too. Marissa, oh, she could be. Marissa's one of the most violent people I know. She's threatened to spank me, and I don't do spankings. There's no punishment. No punishment beyond punishment and rewards. We don't use punishment. We don't do retaliation. All these people say, oh, do back to them what they do to you. I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that? Fuck that. Traveler doesn't know what he's talking about. I would call Traveler's mom again and tell him that what he's done. You know, if you really want to get to the bottom of this and stop having him freaking discriminate against you, call back his mom again and tell him what he's doing. Not in a way you're looking for retaliation. Just tell him, hey, you're looking for resolution. And that you would like him to treat you like a human being because you have a need for dignity. That's what I would say. It'll work out. But you can't let the pressure off. There's no such thing as everyone's a lie word. Make it specific. Document that shit. Do like Martin Lewis. Make fucking comedy videos about it. Fucking read the words they wrote to you in a funny voice. Put the image on the screen and just read it. And make a little funniness. Call them out. Don't let them go. Each person who says what they say, make it public. Make it known. Don't let them hide. Don't let them cyberbully you. There's ways to freaking prevent cyberbullying, and it comes through transparency. Don't do back to them what they did to you. Just put it all out there. Transparency and vulnerability are the answers. There's no need for offensiveness. Don't get offended. Don't get defensive. I don't know why people would dare do that. I don't even talk private. I don't like private. I don't like secrets. I'm totally against secrets. So if you're gonna hold secrets, I don't want you around. Actually, MySpace. Yeah, ignoring is not the answer. Ignorance is not the answer. I don't agree with ignorance either. It's about awareness. It's about openness. It's about transparency. It's about resolution, mourning. Apology is the most violent. Get out of here with apology too. Don't fucking dare apologize. Otherwise, you're only putting forth punishment systems. And then why are you saying to say privately? Who cares? It's not even that big a deal. I don't know why you make it a big deal. Why would you even contact? It doesn't matter, you know? What are you even contacting his mom in the first place for? If you're not going to follow through, why would you do that, you know? If you're going to follow through and you want to help him, that makes a lot of sense, and you would keep it on. You would keep on full force. You wouldn't even let go. You would keep a connection with these people that you made the connection with. Why would you attempt to make a connection with someone if you didn't want to find a solution through that connection? Is it because you were vaccinated or something? And you have brain swelling? I don't know. That's the only thing I could think. A lot of people have that. A lot of people don't have proper function and ability because of the vaccinations they received. And they have a lot of anxiety issues and all kinds of shit. They want to call it mental health issues, but it's not. It's freaking it's toxic, it's poison, it's heavy metals in their body that have destroyed their brain when they were a child.
The body, you can imagine a child's body trying to deal with all the inflammation and poisons from heavy metals like that. Dare anybody put a fucking vaccination in a child? That's irreparable damage. What is it? 13 minutes. Yeah, but you don't want to help someone unless it's helping you. You see what I mean? You don't do things unless you're doing it for yourself. It's the world. That's important. It's called egoism. That's part of nonviolent communication too. Don't do things unless it has a need of your own. If you're doing something that's not going to meet it, you're actually going to create a problem. And it helps to not create problems by not doing things for others unless it's consented and asked for. And it's important that you say no to them as well, so you get something out of it. If you're not getting something out of something, don't do it. No, it's not. Who cares about that? That's bullshit. No one's getting arrested for harassment. That's not even true. There's no fucking. We live in a world of free speech. Nobody could get arrested for harassment. Who fucking cares? Who cares? Let him do it. Make him do it. Challenge him to do it. Just like Cheetah's challenging Anda to do it to him. I wouldn't. It wouldn't matter. I hate this issue. I don't know why you'd involve with him anyways. Do you have like the hot or something? We already know that Traveler gets highly focused on certain issues, and he wants just niceness. He just wants things to be pleasant, and things to go on and to advance himself and to progress and, to work with people who are dignified and like going somewhere too. That's what's going on. And maybe it gets a little bit to his head. Okay, but that's here nor there. She said, I'm not going anywhere. I don't know what an SI is. I'm not going back to cooked. I'm just allowing myself the freedom to choose without shame. Okay. No shame, no blame. That's Mike Stone was talking to Jen about. She made a video about why she wants to make no shame about whether she cooked food or not, or something like that. Where? Album? I want to look at album. I'm going to post some. Oh, yeah, look at 10 minutes. 10 minutes and I'm out of here. 10 minutes. Where's the album? General semantics. There it is. 15 formulations. Non-identity. There we go. Boom.
I don't know. I'm banned from the Woodstock Festival, so I won't know anything about that. Anytime you apply heat to stuff, it transforms the molecular structure and makes it inorganic and therefore toxic to the body, and it takes energies from the body to vitally protect itself and nerve energy that you would otherwise use elsewhere. Like, have you noticed people who cook food sleep a lot more because they have so much more rest they need to make up for the devitalization of the body, having used electrical energy that has a precious vital nerve energy only so much. Once you use it, you bonk, you know? So you want to hold your energies and conserve your energies. Hell no. You could juice a raw yam. If you had a yam or a sweet potato, you could juice it, but I wouldn't do that because I like fiber and I don't want to juice. And that's like a last resort. If you're like desperate, you had nothing else in your whole life, that's like strange that you get to that point. Because we live in a world of total abundance. We live in infinite summer where everywhere on earth has the access to fresh foods if people want it. All you gotta do is plan on it and make it happen. Hell no, not a regular potato. That's toxic as hell. Die if you eat a regular potato. I got a video about that. Dun, dun, dun. Some of the luminaries have long since rediscovered the Grecian panacea. What does it say? The guy had two daughters? There is one universal cause of disease, and there is one universal panacea. Hell yeah, Pancea's the daughter. Spinach? Hell no. Spinach is oxalic acid. Spinach if it's baby, but like other than that, like there's no calories in it. It's high in minerals. If you're like first starting raw food, great. You know, use a lot of freaking baby spinach if you want, but there's a limit, you know? You'll feel it too. You'll be like, oh, I feel like crap. A lot of people, some people can tolerate more than others, and it's like it depends on how toxic you are, how acid you are, and how, you know, like don't dare eat one thing that's acid forming. If it's cooked, you're gonna kill yourself. You're hurting yourself. So I really don't want to help anybody or do anything. People don't listen to me. I don't want to get listened to either. It's not my goal. I don't want to give people advice. I don't want to get listened to. I do my own thing, and I do it for myself. I don't want people. I don't want followers. I don't want hierarchy. I don't want centralization. I can't take responsibility for others, and I will not. Cannot and will not. I reject the care of others. It's not my job. Let them die. I'm a big fan of euthanasia. I think it's important to have people, you know, fail on their own accords. It's there to them to help themselves. I can't help them. Panacea. I need an image of the Panacea goddess. Panacea. There she is. Panacea, the Greek goddess of universal remedy. The solution to all problems. The cure-all. Nice. I don't like the language, but I'll take it. Panacea. Is there more Panacea goddesses? Wow. Dang, Panacea's pretty. Damn. Man, there's some guy named Panacea who's really ugly. Goddess. Oh yeah, we're up. Oh yeah, 3 minutes. 3 minutes remaining. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Panacea pouring water. Hell yeah, look at that. It's a beautiful image. Nice. Nice. Naked in the tower. Damn. Wow. It's even better. Panacea. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm gonna put a bunch of pictures of Panacea. Panacea party. What? No, gender neutral. I don't agree with gender neutrality. I don't even agree with gender. That's fine. Shit. What? Oh yeah, naked at Stonehenge. Asclepius. Because Asclepius is a man and he has daughters. That's how it looks. 2 daughters. So much. I gotta stop. Otherwise, overwhelmed. Hey, red raw hole. I'm leaving to go dancing, but I'm leaving a cool image posted, and I'll be back. Original. Bam. Just as there is one universal cause of disease, just as one universal cause of disease exists, so too does one universal panacea. Fuck, I want to rewrite stuff. I'm so like, I'm so fixated on the language of general semantics improving things, but I'm not gonna do it. I got other things to do. 37 seconds remaining. 85%. What kind of charge levels we're gonna deal with? Oh shit. Okay. That's it. I'm ending the broadcast. Thanks for joining. I'll be back.